Listen, I gotta tell you, if you're a photographer, videographer, or you just do anything creative and you're not creating content, honestly, I have to just tell you straight up, honestly, you're leaving more than just money on the table. You're leaving opportunities and you're leaving influence just out there, just out there in the ether. Listen, throughout my career, content creation has changed my business, it has helped my finances, and honestly, it sounds dramatic. It's honestly changed my life. I've been behind the camera for well over a decade, shooting music videos, working with brands, shooting and filming campaigns, and working for myself and shooting for my studio. And one thing I can tell you is that talent and gifting, honestly, it will only get you so far. There's one thing that honestly will set everyone else apart, and that's posting consistently in this digital age. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So grab your popcorn, grab your notebooks, because in this video, we're gonna break down 20 reasons why you need to be shooting content. Let's get into it. All right, so we're gonna break this down into 5 pillars. The first pillar will be content as proof. The second pillar will be content as leverage. The third pillar will be content as growth. And then the fourth pillar will be content as power. And I want you guys to stick around all the way to the end, because that last one, to me, is kind of the most important one. It's the most fulfilling. So let's go into the first pillar, which is content as proof. So I'm going to be looking over at my notes because I have a lot of things written down for each section. So don't mind if I'm looking away. But for the first section of content as proof, it's skill and portfolio. And basically what this is, every time you're posting, this could be potentially something that is elevating your portfolio. Every time you're putting something out there, you're basically throwing another dart at the wall. Something may stick, something may not, but this is something that you're just building. You're building your portfolio as far as in your content sphere. And within posting, depending on what it is, whether it's behind the scenes or final results, in my case, like I posted a behind the scenes of a lighting setup that I did at my studio. And this was just an evergreen piece of content. And I'm using language that we'll talk about kind of later on in the video. I posted an evergreen piece of content, just behind the scenes style of a lighting setup. And someone reached out basically because I posted this behind the scenes and they wanted a similar style of lighting. Now, if I would have never posted that, who knows if that client would have ever reached out. So like I said, throwing piece of content out on your socials is basically like throwing darts at the wall. Something may stick, something may not, but the only way you'll find out is if you throw that dart. Number 2 is brand authority. Now on my Instagram and obviously here on YouTube, I post a ton of educational, I'll say educational in quotations because it's not necessarily educational like this is how you do this, but it's more informative when it comes to like gear reviews and what certain pieces of tech and what pieces of gear do. And with that, you're basically exerting yourself as an authority. Like I said, talking about gear here on on my YouTube, people have seen me as a trusted source, not only from a creative aspect, but I also know what I'm talking about when it comes to certain pieces of gear. Number 3 is built-in marketing. Creating these videos here on YouTube and creating content for whatever social platform it is, that piece of content lives and continues to generate and work as you sleep. For example, here on this YouTube channel, one of the biggest and I would say the best performing video, which is very ironic, the biggest and best performing video on this channel is a tour of my photography studio. Nothing special, nothing spicy, nothing sexy in the editing. It is honestly a very straightforward tour of my studio. And like I said, it's the highest generating video on this channel. Now, with that one piece of content, generates sales for my studio. People find that video and then they find out about my studio. They also find out about me as being a photographer, but since it's about the studio, I'll leave it about that. But people literally book my studio because of that one single piece of content that took me about 40 minutes to shoot and about an hour to edit and just throw up on YouTube, and it just works while I'm not working. And that's the beauty about creating content. It's forever going and it's forever going to work even when you're not working. Number 4 is trust builder. Like I was saying in the intro, people work with who they know, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they may be the best as far as technicality or their gifting or their talent. Some people just like to work with who they know, and creating content puts yourself out into the public eye. And the more you create, people begin to feel like they know you, especially once you dive in deeper into other aspects that we're going to talk about later. But people gain a relationship with you, your content, the type of things you produce, the people that you have involved in your content. All of this is honestly creating a community, because people genuinely hire and work with people that they know versus people that may be a quote unquote better option. I'd rather hook up the homie because I know the homie and I know what they can do, versus trying to go out and find someone and I don't really know the level of skill that they may bring to the table. So people like to work with who they know, not necessarily, like I said, it's not always about what people know, but it's all about who you know. And number 5 is client education. This isn't something that I practice too much, but I've dabbled in it time to time. And basically, through your content, clients can see what they're gonna get, basically. They can see the necessary steps that may go into booking someone. They may see the necessary steps of what it takes to get certain shots on a video or a photo shoot. And with this, you're just justifying your rates and showing your process. And I think that's very pivotal, especially when it comes to behind the scenes, because now your clients can kind of understand what they're going to get. They may understand some of your processes. I know sometimes I speak about, especially on this channel, about systems and how I go about invoicing and doing contracts and things like that. And I speak about that on some of my content. Depending on whatever type of content you're putting out there, it could be educational to your client, but it also could be educational to just your general audience. Now we're going to jump into pillar number 2, which is content as leverage. And the first subsection is proof of results. And basically what this is showing what you deliver, showing your before and after. It's really about showing the process of how you go from the beginning to the end. Some people, I know when it comes to photography and some videographers, you'll see a lot of those pieces of content where it shows the raw versus the edited, or the raw and then the color graded. The power of color grading, we've all seen those reels, those pieces of content. Those things just show what you can do. They show what you can deliver, not only for, it shows what you can deliver for them. And I always say content, the way I go about shooting content, it's always going to be for me, but what I present in within the content is it's for the client, so that they can see, oh, James knows how to do this very, very well. He can tell a story very well. Oh, James can color grade very well. Sometimes you have to break it down bit by bit in your content, and your clients will see, oh, this person knows how to edit. They can tell a story. They know sound design, just using your content to show your efforts. And I think that's what proof of results is really all about. It's just showing what you can do. And the other aspect of proof of results, and this is something that I need to work on, is just showing results when it comes to ROI. Now, honestly, when you're a videographer, most people, or even a photographer, people just think, oh, creating beautiful images. But on the business side, they're looking for a return on investment. So getting those analytics back from the client, the people that you're shooting for, and seeing how much did that piece of content that you created for them, how much money did it bring in, how much revenue did they make, did it do well, did it work well with their audience and their customers. Those are great pieces of content, especially for brands and for companies that really, really want to know the ROI aspect of things, because I've always said this, we're not just photographers and videographers, we're a business, and other businesses can tell, oh, they're just someone that can create something pretty, but are they going to make me money? So that is another aspect of proof of results. Number 7 is networking without networking. And to better explain that, like I said before, your content, it's working whether you're working, and you're putting a digital footprint out into the internet, out into the world, out into Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and people are getting to know you. They're starting to feel like, oh, I can resonate with this person. There's countless people on YouTube that I watch that I've never met in my life, but I can sit there because I feel like I resonate with their content. And since I resonate with their content, I feel like I resonate with them as human beings. And that has led me to then go down the rabbit hole of finding their other socials, whether it's their Instagram or their TikToks. Now I'm engaged, and now I'm within their network. And that is what we need to do with our content, is just be more engaging and be more personable, because it is another form of networking. Number 8 is evergreen value. I kind of touched on this earlier in the video. Basically what evergreen content is, one video just keeps paying. Now, the best way that I can explain this is evergreen content is something that will never go out of style. People are always looking it up. And the one example I can put is I don't know how to tie a tie. And countless times I've looked up the video on YouTube, how to tie a tie. People will always look up that video because everyone at some point in time is going to need to know how to tie a tie because they either don't know how to do it or they forgot. Whatever the case is, that is an evergreen piece of content. And here on my YouTube channel, I've created a few pieces of evergreen content. If you've been subscribed to the channel for a while, you've seen that I've uploaded multiple what's in my camera bag or camera reviews or anything about a specific piece of gear, because at some point in time, people will need to know about that piece of gear, or they're curious about cameras or lenses or anything of that nature. And those pieces of content forever and ever will always be evergreen, because this camera, unless they discontinue some of this gear, people are always going to be questioning about it. Like, oh, best YouTube camera, best camera for vlogging, best camera for content creation. Those are things that I make content about because people are always looking for it. And another thing about evergreen, it works well with your business. Like I said, with like the biggest video on this channel is my studio. And my studio, honestly, it doesn't change often. It will always look remotely the same. So that piece of content is evergreen. Touring my studio, then that just generates more revenue for my studio, and then it gets them tapped into my studio ecosystem. And if they love my studio enough, they keep booking and they keep booking from one piece of content. That's evergreen. Number 9 is diversified income. Now, this is the part where everyone wants to get into content creation because it's the spicy part. It's the fun part. This is where you begin to make money or can make money. And there are a few different ways that you can make money. Obviously, here on YouTube, it's ad revenue, affiliate links. There are other ways that you can create revenue for yourself through content. And that's, in my case, I sell LUTs, and other creators sell preset packs for Lightroom, preset packs for Premiere Pro. What do you call them? Power grades for DaVinci Resolve. There's tons of different ways. You can create PDFs about ebooks, about things that you may know. Like, I'm thinking about making an ebook about how to start a studio. I've created an ebook talking about how to come up with content ideas, how to take photography in church and videos in church. There's multitudes of ways that you can create revenue just from content creation. And the beauty about that is once it's created, it's truly passive. The videos that I make on here, and they just live on YouTube. Once I'm monetized on this channel, this video will be generating income, and that is passive because I already did the work and it just lives here forever. When I make presets or LUTs, all those things live on my website. By the way, if you guys do want some LUTs, link down below. I have some for sale over on my website. But once you make them once, you can just sell them forever, and it's always just going to generate money for you. And you just create it once and it just continues to go. And that's the beauty of just creating your own products from content creation. Wait. Got to stop halfway through. If you guys are enjoying the content, make sure you guys drop a comment down below. And please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton. Obviously, it helps grow the channel and grow the community. And I would love to have you over here. So, yeah, let's get back to it. And number 10, which is a big one for me, and I wish I took it more serious in my early days, and that is building a community. When you're putting yourself out there and you're sharing your journey and you're sharing what you know, there are people that are just starting out with all of this stuff. They may not even know how to obtain a camera, how to turn on a camera, what is a LUT, what is aperture. And I'm speaking in photography terms because obviously that's my deal. But you're building a community because some people are like, wow, like this guy knows his stuff, and they kind of want to ask questions. They want to know more. And within that, you're building a community. That was a big aspect of why I opened my photo studio, and that was to build a community. Now that's on the physical aspect of it. It's like my studio brings photographers, brings videographers, content creators, makeup artists, stylists, people from all walks of life. And I'm building a community in the physical form. But in the digital world, like creating content, you're creating community online. And creating community online, not only just, you're building friendships, you're building people that you can work with, but you're also building a clientele. And that is super important. You don't want to just be creating content just to be creating content. I mean, you can, but you want to be monetizing off of it, whether it's in your business or whether it's for your own self gain. I would say have a business attached, but creating a community, it's amazing. The amount of DMs that I get on a weekly basis saying, hey, I'm thinking about starting a studio. Hey, how do I do a YouTube channel? Just asking tons of different questions, but it's all based off of the content that I've put out into the world. And like I said before, you become an authority. People see you as someone that knows what they're talking about. And that's all the beauty of building a community just from content creation. Jumping into the next pillar, content as growth. Number 11, SEO advantage. Be where people search. The best way that I can explain SEO is it's called search engine optimization. And basically what it is, you're just showing up where people search. So for example, with my studio, when people go on Google and search Orange County Photo Studio, my studio is number 1 or number 2. Maybe number 2 or number 3. But it's in the first, I'll say in the first 5. Actually, let me check. So yeah, so we're the 5th and 6th option when you search on Google by searching Orange County Photo Studio. We come up as number 5, and that's from our Instagram. And then we are number 7, and that's our website. And that's on Google. So we're in the top 10, and that's ranking for our Instagram and our website in the top 10, which is incredible. And I achieved that by tagging our photos. So basically what I did is every time I post on the studio account, whether it's on our TikTok, our Instagram, or on our website, in the metadata of every file, it has Orange County Photo Studio, Santa Ana Photo Studio, Headshot Orange County Photo Studio, tons of different variations of Orange County Photo Studio with the type of photography, either portrait photography, family photography, Christmas setups, tons of different ways of tagging it. And with that just helps people find us, and that helps generate revenue for the studio. I also have the same thing set up for my production work, JD2 Pictures. So when you search up Orange County photographer or Orange County director, I come up as well. And SEO is a huge one. And with Instagram, as of late, as I've heard, they have now optimized SEO. So when you're creating content, always use those hashtags, use location, use words that people are searching for. I know TikTok is really good at this, so Instagram is kind of just now implementing it. But make sure that you're utilizing those hashtags and utilizing location base, and also saying what you are, whether you're a photographer, a director, because people are always searching up for those terms. So number 12 is control the narrative. If you don't tell your story, someone else will. Instead of just getting Yelp reviews and random reviews on Google, which is good, having those testimonials, having behind the scenes, showing the journey, that is how you're gonna create your own narrative. That's how you're writing your book. That's how you tell your story. And if you're taking control of it, there's no better way, because it's catered to you and it's coming authentically from you. And that's a great segue to roll into the next one, which is personal branding. You're just not a photographer. You're just not a videographer. You're a brand. And this is something that I've picked up on in the past year or two, is becoming a personal brand and utilizing YouTube and Instagram as a personal brand. Instagram used to be solely for my portfolio. I had my website, but Instagram was primarily, as far as in the social sphere, that was my portfolio. But as times change, and like I spoke about in other areas, people want to know who you are. They want to know who they're working with, who they want to hire. And building a personal brand is honestly the easiest and the best. I mean, I don't want to say easiest, but it's the best way to do it, because it's authentically you. Now, I'm showing off my skill of photo and video whilst showing my journey, showing how I photograph, how I work with clients behind the scenes, doing vlogs here on YouTube, creating content for myself. But this is also just showing my skill level, but it's also just building my brand. It's building my voice on the internet, my voice on YouTube and Instagram. And honestly, building a personal brand was honestly the best decision that I've ever made, because it also just helps with my creativity. Number 14 is future proofing. I remember when TikTok was about to get banned here in the US, and I was laughing because I always told people, like, you need to be as many places as possible. You need to be on TikTok, you need to be on Instagram, you need to be on YouTube, you need to be on Threads, you need to be everywhere, You just never know if a platform dies. I don't know how old all of you guys are, but I remember when Vine was a thing. And when Vine went away, a lot of the creators on Vine didn't necessarily know what to do. I know a lot of the big ones and the smart ones, they went over to Instagram, they went over to YouTube, but a lot of them didn't know what to do. They were like, this is the end. Like, they weren't everywhere. And that is something that you don't want to be in. That's a predicament you don't want to be in. You don't want to just be solely on one platform, because God forbid that platform gets X'd out and now you don't have a voice. So being everywhere, future proofing not only your brand, but future proofing your business. Number 15 is creative outlet, making content for myself and not just for my clients. Kind of spoke about this a little bit earlier about my personal branding. This has honestly been the most fulfilling aspect of creating as of late, because my background comes from shooting music videos, and the way that the music industry has been over the past few years, I haven't really been able to shoot as many music videos as I would like due to budgeting and how how the industry is right now. I don't get that piece of joy of working with the artists and curating a world with them, and I truly do miss it. But with the introduction of content creation and building a personal brand for myself, it has truly sparked a different part of my brain just to be creative. And honestly, creating videos like this, even though this is very sit down and informative, this is so much fun to me because, one, I'm just pouring back into a community, but I get to express and just talk, and so I can turn around and create something more fun on Instagram, creating a day in the life, or you've seen that on my YouTube, a week in the life, or just creating just a simple piece of content of what my day was like, or an experience, me going to the gym. Honestly, it's just being creative it's embedded in me. And like I said, shooting music videos is where my heart and my joy is. But this, oh my God, like creating for myself has been so fulfilling and has truly filled the void of being creative. And for our final section, content as power, number 16, stand out. Most creatives don't market. Honestly, this is a big one because I fell into that same boat. Marketing. I still don't really market, but all of these pieces of content, everything I'm throwing out there, I spoke about marketing before as far as on the business aspect, as far as like my studio, but all of this is marketing for myself. I'm putting myself out there. All these pieces of content, it's marketing. It's all marketing because people are seeing my face, they're hearing my voice, they're hearing my knowledge, they're hearing my experience. All of that is marketing. All of it is marketing. So creating, you have to create because it's all marketing and it's all working for your favor. Number 17, social proof. Engagement validates you instantly. And honestly, that is so true because it's like a dopamine hit when you spend time working on a piece of content and you put it out and people start commenting, people start engaging, people start sharing, sales start coming through. All of that is social proof that what you're doing is resonating and what you're doing is working. And if it's something that you're selling, it is something that is also working and people are interested and intrigued with. All of that is social proof, showing that what you have to offer is honestly something of value. Number 18, document your life. People honestly have seen me in person go from point A to point B. But as far as my digital footprint here online, they just see what I am now. They have probably seen maybe the last 5 years. But a lot of people don't know that I've been in LA, in California since 2012, and I've done every position in the film industry that you can think of. I've worked every odd job, every 9 to 5, going from working at a skating rink, working at Abercrombie and Fitch, driving Uber. I've done so many odd jobs throughout my career, all whilst chasing, a film career here in California, being a production assistant, being someone that would work on set, but just take the director's cars to the car wash or to the mechanic, or help a director move from one house to another, even though I was called to be on set. I've done it all. And the one thing that I honestly regret is not documenting as much as I could, because I would have so much more to look at, and I would have so much more weight to show the world like I'm worthy of where I am and how far I've come. So I've made it my mission to always document as much as possible. And I think this is also where I'm having a crossroads in my own content, whether it's content creation or documenting my life, because they're very different in a way, but they're married also. And I'm kind of like a hybrid of documenting my life but also creating content. And I think that's up to you to decide which variant you want to go with. Documenting your life may be a lot easier than you sitting down and doing something like this. But filming something that you're already doing, whether you're a stay-at-home mom and you're creating content about being a stay-at-home mom and how to work with children at home, how to change a diaper, that may be easier than you sitting down and trying to do a talking head type of video. So documenting your life, I would say, is a huge, huge plus, and you should definitely try that out. Number 19, leverage. The more you do this, the bigger your audience, the bigger your numbers are, the more confident you are in the space. And that all turns into dollars when it comes to negotiations, when it comes to brand deals or working with certain companies or doing certain shoots, because you have, for lack of a better word, you have the clout, you have the weight, you have the audience, you have the numbers, you have the clientele to show, because of you picking up the camera and documenting and creating content. And the more you do this, the more of authority you become, the bigger the numbers, the more of a community you have, and all that translates into money. It all translates into money. So just remember that leverage is one of the ultimate goals. And last but certainly not least, and I think this is my favorite one, it's legacy. No one thinks about the day that we're gonna die. No one thinks about when we're not gonna be here anymore. And when we're not here, none of this stuff, none of it matters. We go to heaven, we see the Lord, and that's it. But what's left here on earth? Did you make an impact? Did you change lives? Did you help someone? Did you make someone feel good? Did you make someone feel great? Did you change someone's life? It's not always just about creating beautiful images or slapping a LUT on something or taking a photo. All those things are great, but did you help someone? Did you cure someone's curiosity? Did you help elevate someone? Did you help elevate the next generation? That's what this is all about. Legacy, legacy, legacy. And that's ultimately why I do this. Well, I hope this video helped you guys out, and I hope you guys learned a little bit of something. And if you aren't creating content, if you couldn't tell, I highly encourage you, I highly advise you, start doing it as soon as you can, as soon as possible, because honestly, it'll help change your life. It'll help change you personally. It'll help change you creativity. It'll help It'll help accelerate and change you creatively. It will help build your business. Honestly, it'll help you in so many different ways. And yeah, I would just love to know if you guys are creating, if you guys are starting to create. If you are, welcome. Drop something down below. I would love to start a conversation with you guys. But in the meantime, if you guys enjoy the content, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.